This is a funny video title. Um, I wanted to make this because I just honestly, like, in all self awareness, I've changed a lot, and people have probably seen me go through a lot of changes. And a lot of them are just, personal changes, personal choices that I've made. But I wanted to make a video talking about, like, this this title. Have I fallen off? It's a really, really funny premise, and in some ways, yeah, I have. In some ways, I don't take business quite so seriously anymore. A couple of years ago, all I had in my life was business. All I had in my life was my sense of self-worth through the amount of money that I made that month, essentially. And since getting married, and especially, and since having a child and everything, I really have reflected a lot and realized that, I was really chasing something that I no longer want to chase. And so I've been building businesses and working with clients and building our other company from a place of just love and appreciation for the, God given gifts that I have for marketing and sales and communication and stuff. And like just right now, we're spending $2,000 a day to fill out the calendar. We get 10 or 15 sales calls a day over there. Good organization. And over here, occasionally a one-on-one client slips through. And I'm actually really content with that. And I don't want to build just for the sake of it. So I think the entrepreneurial space is a space of so much optics, and I just got tired of playing that game. Like, I just got tired of it. There's so much sub communication and like what kind of watch are you wearing and like what does your apartment look like and like who are you associated with. And I just got so tired of climbing that ladder, and it honestly felt so empty. And so, yeah, did I fall off 100%? And it was completely intentional. I decided that that's no longer the life that I want to have. I want to have a lot of peace and mobility and flexibility, and I want to build things that don't require me to play a character. And I want to be everything that I am in its entirety and not try to chase some version of myself. And, I feel like the self development space and the entrepreneurial space have a lot in common in that they tell you that you have to become more, do more, be more, etc. And what's so wild about that is Alan Watts says it in a great way. He's like, self improvement is like trying to touch the tip of your finger with the tip of your finger. He's like, in and of yourself, you are not everything that you could be. That's the nature of being human. And so in that as well, I've gravitated towards my walk with Jesus, and I've been much more attuned to the voice of the Holy Spirit, and I've been more peaceful, and I've rested better. I've put on a bit of weight. I used to be stressed all the time. And did I make a lot of money? Yeah, but what's interesting is for the amount of time that I'm working now, I make way more. I literally recently had my first $50,000 profit day. I'd never had a day like that. And so what's amazing about the season that I'm in now is I get to really enjoy the work that I'm doing. So as almost an update to some of my older viewers, people who have followed me for a long time, I'm kind of just doing two things. I run the Kaizen Mastermind, which is basically you get unlimited one-on-one calls with myself. We do these weekly group calls. They're great. I have a very high bar. It's only for established consultants, service providers, coaches who are doing well and want to scale. So no beginners. My beginner stuff, it's going to be YouTube, maybe something else at some point, but I don't help people who are just getting started necessarily unless they have the funds. Maybe they run another business and they want to transition into a coaching business or something. But in general, I don't help people who aren't worth at least 100 grand right now. You know what I mean? And don't have some sense of mobility or sense of momentum. And I do that. And then I run the Kingdom Closer Academy. And you guys have probably noticed that I've shifted offers a couple times. And the reason why is because the first time I launched another offer, it was pure experiment. And then I got it to work. And it was working. And it totally could have scaled to multi six-figure month level. Like we were turning $1 into 3 on ads. Delivery was there. Clients were happy and everything. But then I realized like, wait. If I'm gonna build another business, it should be a business that at least kind of works in tangent with my main business. And what we were building at the time was helping people build content agencies, which is kind of like way back in the day, one of the first things that I did. So it was cool to get to do that. But then I was like, that doesn't really merge with my main business. Like, what would be a better offer? And I was like, you know what? Let's do like the closer training thing where we help people become sales reps. And then that way I can staff some of my clients' companies and everything. And so we don't work, it's not B2C necessarily. We work with existing sales reps who are doing well. Like just yesterday, we had somebody enroll who is making $200,000 a year in a corporate sales environment. And so he enrolled and he's getting our training to perform in this industry. And literally week 1 or 2, we're going to place him into an offer and everything. And so that's kind of what I'm working on. Yeah, have I fallen off? 100%. I don't care as much about optics anymore. My view count has been down. I don't get as much clout. I don't have as much popularity in the space. But I intentionally wanted that. I wanted that so badly because I got so tired of trying to be one thing here and the rest of my life hadn't quite caught up yet. You know, when you get married and when you have a kid, like those of you who are married and kids, you know what I mean. Like you can't live a double life. You literally don't have the margin to. And so I saw that coming over the horizon. You know, my wife got pregnant and I saw that coming over the horizon. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna have to figure out some new stuff. And so yeah, I intentionally said, you know what, I'm gonna start to pull back and I'm gonna start to not try quite so hard on this anymore. And I'm only gonna consult with people who value my time so much that they're willing to pay the rate that I command over there. And I'm not gonna, you know, work with people who don't know that they want to work with me because I just don't have the space for that. You know, I just don't. And so even in my other company, the Kingdom Closer Academy, I'm 70-30 profit split, 70 me with an individual who runs that entire program. So he does all the training, all the placement and everything, and I'm just building marketing sales around that individual. And so in that, I don't even have to do anything there. So I have, literally today, I have no meetings on the calendar. Okay, I'm answering Slack messages from clients. And on average, across the different businesses, I'll bring in on a slow week, like 15 or 20 grand, and on a good week, like 40 grand. And it's great, you know, and I did it by design. I know I did not want to be a face anymore. I didn't want to be, well, not a face. Let me clarify. I didn't want to make an amount of money that was reflective of the amount of money that I was making. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to be like getting paid because I'm getting paid. Like, that felt like a really stupid cycle to be on, because it's like, if I want to take a break or I want to take an aside or do something else for a while or experiment and have fun and try something else or whatever, like everything would fall apart. Like, I hated how fickle it felt. You know what I mean? It felt very fickle. Maybe it didn't seem fickle, but it felt very fickle because like, it was like if I had a $200,000 month, then I'd have the authority to next month have another good month. And it was just like how much money I made was how much money I made. It was almost like being famous for being famous. It was like Kardashian type business thinking. You know, it's just like we're famous because we're famous because we're famous. And honestly, I hated it. So, or at least, especially once I got married, I hated it because I was just like, this is stupid. Like, this just isn't the life that I want, and it's not the life that I want to build for my family. And so I had to take an aside. So yeah, there for a year, I mean, my income went from about 2 million bucks a year to like I probably brought in 2023, maybe a bit of 2024. Like I was pacing like 300, 400 grand a year. But that was again by design. I intentionally decided to do that. One of the downsides of this space is people just don't take time to just think. Like every other big business owner, they'll take time aside and they'll think and they'll do R&D and they'll invest into product development and they'll take a zoom out, you know, and it might even last a while. And and they're not afraid of backslides to have further movement later. And that's what I decided to do. So I wanted to make this video just because, you know, it's obvious it's obvious that my view count is down. It's obvious that I don't have as much like social media momentum, but it's by design. And it's not something that I'm optimizing for anymore because I just don't want it. I don't want to have to maintain a look on social media in order to make money. You know what I mean? And it's because it's incredibly draining. And if you've done it before, you know what I mean. So fun video to make. Want to make this one. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts in the comments.